Good morning. We are recording for tomorrow, since tomorrow is Easter. Today's session, I'm joined by DM Evanson, who is our game master, and my fellow dark alchemist, the Dead Professor Scott. And today we're going to start off talking about Bastions.
Yeah, well, we just hit level 5 in our home campaign, and Bastions became a point of interest, and everybody had kind of forgotten about them for the first 4 levels because we couldn't do anything with it. So in my normal obsessive self and thinking, oh, we could 3D our Bastion, 3D print our whole Bastion, I did a quick web search, and I actually found a super cool Patreon that does maps. And he gave away a basic Bastion set of maps that you can basically print out, cut out, and assemble your Bastion however you want. And that is Tom Cardos. He does battle maps and assets for RPGs and tabletop RPGs. He's got some adventures. If you want to throw him up, Roy.
Yep. Send a message to you guys. Yeah. All right. Let's take a look at stage here where we have Build a Bastion by Tom Cardos.
Right. So now, this is his free set. He gave this out to whoever wanted it. You can download it for free. I then went and signed up because I actually like some of his stuff, and I'll probably sponsor him for a few months. But he's got, you can see in the upper left-hand corner, all the rooms are ready to be cut out, and then you can assemble them into your Bastion however you'd like.
Yeah, it's a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
The
so
cutouts are nice.
You can see some of the bigger images. You know, he's got the kitchen, the bedroom, storeroom.
It's great.
And then he added a hallway, and then a bathroom, and a closet. And then you can see he starts to assemble it. And he's got a different, he's back. He's got a different file for the tiniest room, the roomy room, and then the expansive.
Yeah.
So you can see there's the little bedrooms and then the big bedrooms.
So just so I understand this, we just found this last night. These are PNG files, which
Correct.
are like JPEGs. They're art files, which you can then put in Photoshop. And I can pick a kitchen, bathroom.
So each of them is an independent room.
Square. Right? Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, I'll leave that one up there, Scott. So yeah, so I see these 3 rooms here. Each one is an individual picture. I'll drag them into Photoshop. I'll adjust them where I want, and then I'll be able to print them out to scale.
Correct. They're designed to snap to grid, so you can see the edges overlined. So that's your grid, and then you can add your hallways. When he's done here, he's added a hallway, but notice there's no doors. And then he adds the doors and the windows. He adds a closet and a bathroom, and then he's just assembling it piece by piece.
Okay. Yeah. And now you should be able to print, well, if they're 5-foot grids and you have a home printer, which is 8.5 by 11, you might have to print it in pieces, but you could probably go to Staples or a place and have it printed bigger, or a
right. So he does 2 things. He gives you the files designed to be printed. He gives you the files designed to be used on any VTT. And then he gives you files designed for a home printer, which are all on 8.5 by 11 paper, so that you can cut them out and literally put them together like color forms when we were kids.
That's awesome.
Let's take a step back. And I didn't read that part because, again, we just looked at this last night. You could put it on the virtual tabletop and then use the player tokens to move around the rooms.
Exactly. Yep.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
That's
pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. It's fucking technology, man. It's amazing.
It's amazing. So we saw at the last convention we were at, which was Long Island Tabletop, Wizard Works had a screen, which was a TV and some wood, and they were doing the VTT. They were doing the virtual tabletop, so you could put in the screen. Yeah. The Dead Professor, in your game room, you have an overhead projector. You can project this down.
That's correct.
Yeah, you could put it, or you could just play online, and and honestly, even though it's a Bastion, you could create a tavern, or right. I mean, you could create anything you want custom, put it on virtual tabletop, and put your adventures in there, you know, or somebody else's Bastion. Maybe you're invading somebody. Yeah. Wow.
And then this is his free set, so the rooms are all populated. If you actually join his Patreon, you get all these files as empty rooms also. You get them as stone floors and wood floors. So you can
Wow.
see some of the rooms
Yeah.
have stone style floors and some have wood.
Yeah.
So you get both of those, and then I think you get the asset pack of all the furniture. So you could literally make any room with this. You could make a tavern, like you said. You could make anything
Yeah.
with this.
That's great.
You really fall down the rabbit hole of creating, and I'm sure you could spend hours. It's almost like a
Every time.
sandbox. You're playing with Legos, right? You build this, build that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and then everyone gets to play with it at the end because it's a bastion that you're all sharing,
Exactly.
so it works out even better.
Yep.
Exactly. So, speaking of bastions, let us see what we have here. So, Dave, we recently hit 5th level. We're playing the game nice and slow. We're exploring, but it was time to level up. After how many adventures did we go through before we leveled up? We started at 3.
Started at 3. You guys did a lot of session 0 backstory about like what adventuring you did before we actually played, so you kind of had some backstory adventuring. But
Mhm.
yeah, you did the 1, 2, yeah, 2. Well, 1 really major one, 1 minor one. So yeah, you've done about
Just to give a little background, maybe.
yeah.
Yep.
We decided as a group that we wanted to already be together when we started the game. We didn't want to have
Yeah.
that awkward tavern. Does everybody get along? Which character doesn't like which? We wanted to kind of already be together as a group when we started playing, and we started at level 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I took everybody's backstories, and I went online and found some old modules and old adventures, and literally had us go through those adventures in our backstory.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that kind of showed how the group came together and how certain arrangements, and then I had it sent it out to everybody, and everybody made their edits, and everybody gave their comments. I think I would have done this. I think I would have done that. Yeah. And we put that all together, and that's kind of our group's backstory in addition to each character's backstory.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So that when we started in the tavern at level 3, we all knew each other already.
Yeah, that was the way to do it. And then we had our adventure. We were hired by the city of Lyon to go to Hope to find out that there was a grain shortage. Those people were being possessed and dominated by Naga. We cleared that out. We contacted the king. We got back. We leveled up. Now, in the Dungeons & Dragons new rules 2024, if you allow bastions in your campaign, characters can acquire their bastions when they reach level 5. You and the players can decide together how these bastions come into being. Character might inherit it, receive a parcel of land to build a bastion, or they might have a pre-existing structure and refurbish it. So Dave is allowing bastions in our campaign, and it doesn't cost anything to start a bastion. Although to add stuff to it, it does. But you're assumed in the story at level 5. You're now powerful enough, rich enough, well enough and known, have enough reputation that you have a bastion. And we decided, or Dave, you decided that the bastion will be located outside the city.
Yeah. Because I do have reasons for that, which you'll find out later in the campaign. But the bastion's outside the city. It was a lot easier to give away land that's
Makes sense.
undeveloped in a sense. And you guys gained it through your reputation of basically saving the city from starvation, or the kingdom, I should say. And for your good deeds, perfect timing, you got a bastion out of it. To just to RP it out, instead of just being like, oh, I woke up and I own this building now. So yeah,
Well,
it worked out well.
Speaking of that, it's interesting that our bastion is outside the city, and that's where the land is available, like any sprawling city. But as you mentioned that, I just think that maybe someday that tower or whatever we build, that compound, might be well within the city and might be well known in 100 years because the city might expand around it. And right now it's in the countryside. So did we decide how it's going to look? Scott, we were talking, it might be a tower, it might be a compound.
No.
We were worried about the size and the cost.
So mechanically speaking, if you want to game the rules a little, the best way to do it is to build up and down, right? You make the smallest footprint you can, you build up and down, so you make it a tower and underground, simply because it makes, when you finally decide to build a wall around it, it's a lot cheaper. Because a wall is the most expensive part of a bastion. Because the
just
wall
like real life.
The wall is, I think, 500 gold, and 10 days to build a 5-foot section.
Yeah.
5 feet
average. So like an average bastion would be like 16,000 gold and a year in game time to build a wall.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. But from a character point of view, that's really hard. And if you make it a tower, you can make that a lot smaller. I don't think we're going to make a tower because I don't think it fits the group.
So speaking of the group, then we did have the option. Everybody has the option of having their own bastion, and not combining it.
Correct.
But we actually did combine it. And the reason we were combining it is, we all want to work together, and we actually had the ability to combine more of the special structures. So if 2 or more players combine their character's bastion into a single structure, doing so doesn't change the number of special facilities or how they work or who issues orders. But the defenders are handled differently.
Right.
So
defenders are the thing that you group.
Okay, that defenders are what you group. So, but most people didn't really want their own bastion. Like, I'm okay as long as there's an arcane workshop. I don't need my own wizard tower. And then some people didn't even care, right? I mean, I don't think the bard, wanted a bastion.
Wasn't there. The bard wasn't there.
That's true.
And the only one who has no real interest is the monk, and that kind of makes sense for his character. What does he want a bastion for?
Yeah,
but so it'll just be incorporated into the bastion, and we'll make sure we build rooms for him.
Yeah, and I believe the only thing he has is like a crafting skill is like mapping, right? Or so
right,
he's
not cartography.
Cartography. So he's not like doesn't really need a lot of space or special equipment.
Right. But now at like level 9, there is like a meditation chamber that he might benefit from. So we'll make sure we put that in.
Yeah.
So it comes with a bedroom, dining room, parlor, courtyard, kitchen, and storage.
A normal bastion comes with 2 of those. Like if you did your own bastion, you would get 2 of those basic rooms.
Okay.
At 5th level. And then you get like a 3rd at 9th level. It adds on as you go. But because there's the whole party doing it, we can have all 6 of them. And a bedroom for everyone. Okay,
so everybody has a place to stay. My main concern was we started coming across some piles of gold and some powerful magic items, which, the city leadership says, why don't you hold on to this powerful magic item as we do our own intrigue? And my character's thinking, well, why? I mean, we're 5th level. Why are we holding on to this item that could be kind of like political and I don't want to say world changing, but like, maybe city changing with the politics. I was more worried about just having like a vault or something, which we don't have in this bastion yet, but having some sort of secure facility. And I think we will end up having some guards. And Scott, what special facilities were we looking at?
So again, because we have a big party of 6 people, we technically get 12 special facilities because every one of us gets 2. So the list up to 5th level, there's only 9 of them. So we can literally have all of them and some duplicates. Some of them don't really give you a benefit for duplicates, but some of them we can't have duplicates. Like we can't have a duplicate sanctuary because we only have 1 person who can use a holy symbol right now. We can have 2 arcane studies because both your character and my character can both use an arcane focus.
So if we doubled up on the arcane study, that's the ability to use an arcane focus, or a tool as a spellcasting focus, we can give the craft order. So could we have 2 separate? We can have 2 separate crafts going at the same time.
Correct.
Oh, that might be beneficial, right?
Right. Exactly. And now this is a question for you, Dave. Based on the prerequisite there, your bard cannot use an arcane study because his focus is an instrument, so it's not a tool.
Yeah.
So that's just an interesting, kind of weird spot where there's the most magical of bards can't use an arcane study. So he has a library.
Yeah. The libraries of research? That's an interesting point. Dungeons & Dragons is a world where you can add, whatever homebrew content, create content. Can we create a facility which is a music room? And
at higher level, he does get one.
Is there a high level one? I have to scroll through this.
Yeah. So if you scroll down,
there's a theater.
Yeah.
So we can issue the empower order with the theater to create a concert or production. Okay. So at 9th level, 14 days. That's right up his alley then. So
Yeah.
okay, so we do not have to worry about that.
No. I feel like there is something for everyone in the Bastion system. Not everyone gets it at the same level. What really speaks to them. He might want the inn instead of the theater because he's not. His character right now is kind of his father's the theater, so he doesn't want the theater. He wants to be a tavern musician.
Yeah.
So at I think 9th level you can get a tavern.
Okay.
That might
he may be more in that type of entertainment.
Exactly.
Or maybe he goes the route of the writing of tales, and
exactly
become a great writer.
Oh, it looks like level 13 is a pub.
Oh, pub! There it is.
That's a pretty high level though. That's almost like retirement level, like the joke of the old fighter.
Well, that's
has a
appropriate level.
Pub.
Yeah, 13. So that's usually when campaigns end. They don't usually go too high, so that's kind of funny.
Dave, do you think we're going to try to take this to level 20, have one last level 20 adventure, and then retire, and then continue on with the world of Erendor?
I do plan on doing something similar, yeah.
Okay.
Once the 20 blasting ends, go back what your characters do from there on out, kind of like a farewell of some sort.
And
if they're
the
still there, and then go on with a new group, and then your character will be in the world in some form.
Yeah, the next generation of adventurers.
Yeah, so let's go through. We'll go through level 5 stuff, and maybe we'll swing back around to level 9 to the level 9 Bastion stuff at a future date. Arcane Study gives a craft order, which is crafting certain type of magical items. I think Armory is a little self-explanatory.
If you scroll down, it'll give you a little bit more fleshy description.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look at that then. So if people are listening, we're trying to make this more of a podcast form. They don't have to watch the screen and actually read along, so we'll read for them.
So the big boost of the Arcane Study is if you spend your long rest in the Bastion, you gain a magical charm for 7 days that lets you cast Identify once. So it's a free cast of Identify without using a spell slot.
Yeah,
okay. Not a huge perk, but you're level 5, and then you can have it craft non-magical things. You can have it craft focuses, books at 5th level. Yeah. When you get higher level, it can begin crafting magic items. Your hirelings can begin crafting magic items.
Now, Scott, you're actually already crafting magic items with your character. You made a cloak of protection +1 on the road. You accounted for all the time. Every 4 hours downtime, I start sewing.
Yeah.
So
now I chose that because that was one that Dave and I thought realistically somebody could work on remotely. Like, obviously you couldn't make a magic sword. It's hard to smith when you're, traveling, but sewing a cloak kind of made sense.
Yeah, I like that. So moving on, we have I have to actually see only the level 5 stuff. The Armory.
So Armory. This is kind of a pricey one, right? So you can equip your guards with better weapons. It's 100 gold pieces base, and then 100 gold pieces for each defender you have. So if you have 12 defenders, you're talking about 1,300 gold. If you have a smithy, it's half to 650. But the weird thing about this one is if you are attacked and your Bastion defenders use up all of that equipment and you have to replenish it. So that could be an expensive prospect.
Okay, I got you. So, again, we have some magic items. We have some gold, and I'm a little worried we're going to get stolen. So I do want the guards to be well protected.
Yeah. Well, the next one down is barracks. So that's where you get the guards.
So how many guards can we actually have now? Because we are combining.
We only have one barracks right now, unless we decide to double up on it, which you can do. We can have 12 guards.
2,000 to enlarge the barracks to a vast.
That would be right. That would make it hold 25. But you can have 2 level 1 barracks because we're a combined Bastion. So we could have 12 in each barracks. It takes 3 weeks to recruit 3 Bastion cycles, which is effectively 3 weeks, to recruit them because you get 4 per Bastion cycle in recruitment.
Okay. Okay. I like that. Yeah, and I'm sure Scott will 3D print every guard that we have?
Sure.
No,
I like that.
Absolutely.
And I will name them all, and I will give you backstories for all of them, their
I love it.
families.
Well, don't worry. I'll have some of that prepared. There will be a hiring process for some of the other people.
We're gonna have to have
We
interviews.
Zone of Truth.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's true. It's true. We have the Zone of Truth to make sure those guards are in. Garden. I like the garden.
Yeah, garden. You can pick multiple types. You can make it decorative, food, herb, and poison.
Yeah.
And again, it's a small perk. If you pick an herb garden, you get either 10 healers kits or 1 potion of healing and materials a week.
I like the Gambler's Hall.
Potion of healing and ice.
Gambling Hall? That's cool.
I'm just going to keep scrolling down until we see the level 5 stuff, unless we come across the Gambling Hall. A library. Library's a level 5 Bastion.
Yep.
Let's do the research order.
7 days, do some research. Yep. 3 accurate pieces of information about a topic that was unknown.
So, I do like that, and I think that gives a game master a great opportunity to add lore and stuff, like go back. Now, in this case, we're dealing with Naga and some Dominate, and Dave changed some of the Naga abilities. So we actually talked about last episode that the Naga doesn't have Dominate in 5th edition, 2024, but they had in previous editions, and Dave added that back in because it's important to the story.
Right.
Naga have to dominate in order to take stuff over. If they don't have that ability, well, then how do they do it? So that was a game master decision.
Yeah.
Scrolling back down, let us see. We have Menageries level 13, Observatory, which I'm looking forward to. That's also level 13. The pub is level 13. Reliquary, saying that right, is level 13. So that's going to be for the priests. A sanctuary level 5. Now we're getting into a holy symbol or druid.
Right. So, as the wizard version, the arcane one, you get identify once when you stay there for the long rest. The holy sorts in the sanctuary get a free healing word once without spending so much.
I like that. I like that.
Same kind of thing on par. Can be druid or. So it can be anyone who can use a holy symbol or druid focus as a spell casting. So it's basically druids, paladins, and clerics.
So are you looking to put one of those in your bastion?
Yep. We're going to put the first shrine to Ioun in who knows how long.
Yeah, you might be the...
Oh, wow. Yeah.
You might be the only active religious sanctuary in the area.
So some backstory for anybody listening is... Ioun was a lost goddess and might even been intentionally buried by some of the current religious or military or governmental order. And Scott's character and Paul's character found a book which talked about Ioun. And now you two are basically trying to bring Ioun back into the world, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So that'd be cool if there was actually pilgrimages to the, I don't know what we're calling it yet, but the Temple of Twilight or the Bastion of Twilight, that people are coming there. Sanctum is a level 17. Scriptorium is a level 9 to make scrolls. Smithy level 5 contains a forge, an anvil, and other tools needed to craft weapons, armor, and equipment. And we were talking about armaments and also magic items as you get higher level.
Yeah.
At level 9, craft magic items. Stable at level 9. Actually, I'd like to
just go back to that one for 1 second, Roy.
Yeah, Smithy.
So this is something that DMs need to consider, right? Because your hirelings can craft anything that can be made with smith's tools in the player's handbook.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
And you pay the cost. So it takes out a lot of DM prerogative on equipment. So if our Dragonborn decides he wants full plate, he can get it for cost here.
Okay.
So that's
the full plate can be more expensive in these cities and stuff if it's even available.
Is, I think 1,500 gold just to buy the armor. So it's just something that we have to consider, or more Dave has to consider. But I mean, we're all worried about balance. So none of your other craft skills allow you to make anything more than 50 gold. Basic
Yeah.
equipment and all the other skills. Smithing is the only one where the equipment gets very expensive. So
Yeah.
just something to consider.
I like that. Fair enough. Stable level 9 comes with 1 riding horse, camel, or 2 ponies or mules. So you can trade. You can issue a trade order. Again, that's level 9, but I've been very fascinated with the horses in the game and the travel because you don't always maybe have the ability to teleport. Storehouse is a level 5 Bastion facility, and it's a cool dry place for trade goods.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a money maker.
Okay, when you issue a trade order, they spend 7 days procuring items.
Yeah, you invest 500 gold into it in the first week, and then in the second week, you sell that 500 gold, and you get 10% on it at 5th level. So you get 550. So it's an investment. If you can afford to lay out 500 gold, you get 550 back in 2 weeks.
Okay.
And that percentage does go up as you go up in level, so you start making bigger profits.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that's very similar to what we did in our previous game where we had the shipping company, right? I mean,
dragons, wagons, and flagons.
So we bought a bunch of wagons, and we would buy trade goods and take them with us to the next town and sell them.
Yeah. Yep. Level 5 Bastion facility, the workshop. 3 hirelings. A huge list of craft things. It comes equipped with 6 of the following: carpenter tools, cobbler tools, glass blower, jeweler, leatherworking, masons, painters, potters, tinker, weaver, wood carver. You can give the craft order for those items. At level 9, those items could become magical.
Yeah.
And also the workshop can be a source of inspiration. After spending a short rest in the workshop, I guess working on your items, maybe glass blowing is your thing, and you blow some glass and you gain heroic inspiration.
Yeah.
So that'll lock you in to get it. Although we have the bard to do that.
Yes.
Yeah. So
now you can fire the bard.
Yeah. Yeah. If he goes off on his own,
he's really a thief.
Well, maybe the bard doesn't come home one night and you need the inspiration and he's still out partying.
Exactly.
So,
Absolutely.
Then you can get your inspiration. So yeah, a big list of tools and a lot of items in the Dungeon Master's Guide that you can basically get for free. Then, right? You can make some leather or jewel. Yeah. It's good. It's good.
A lot of that.
Did we pick 6, Scott? Did you have 6 in mind?
We did. But again, this is one we could double up on if we wanted to have all of them. But we don't have. So we have cobbler, jeweler, leatherworker, tinker, weaver, and wood carver in the group. So I said we should have those 5. And I think I said carpenters because that just made sense because that would help building the Bastion. It was just like, obviously you should have a carpenter if you're building this building. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense. I think that's Mason too.
Yeah, Mason also. So maybe that'll be the other one.
So speaking of building in the Bastion of the walls, Dave, is there any opportunity as a dungeon master that we spend a month at the Bastion and maybe we have a spell, maybe somebody has stone shape, or maybe we have some extra dwarves that we come across and we hire them that we could build faster? Because the basic rules, we said if we built all the walls, it could take up to a year. As a dungeon master, we could actually role play maybe, building something faster. Was an emergency, we need to get walls up or some sort of defense.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, nothing's off the table as far as that goes. There are things happening behind the scenes, so resources may be limited in that.
Okay,
particular aspect. But for building, additional rooms or stuff like that, yeah, absolutely, you could always hire more people to help speed up the process. But again, as long as you have the gold, you can make it happen. Magically, it will be a little bit harder to find a proper person for that, but not impossible.
No, but for instance, if we waited 2 more levels and we got to 7th, then we could take stone shape.
Yeah.
Then maybe we could do, a month there of a wizard, 2 wizards, and a cleric casting stone shape, and suddenly things would accelerate.
Yeah. So after you issue a Bastion order, there's an event that occurs the next turn, and there's a list of events. There's a 50% chance all is well, a 5% chance to be attacked. There could be a criminal, something extraordinary could come up. visitors, guests, lost hirelings, a magical discovery, refugees, which maybe they're visiting the Temple of Twilight, a request for aid, or a 2% chance for a treasure. So, um, I think, I mean, I like the fact that they added a Bastion events table, but I think this really should have been like 1 to 100.
Well,
And I
and
don't,
that's
there's only so much
always,
room.
yeah. But
Yeah.
again, the beauty of D&D is third-party resources, right? So there's
Yeah.
already a dozen supplements out there on the RPG Guild, RPG Guild.
Yeah,
And there's a dozen supplements out there for expanding your Bastion and additional Bastion roles. And
Yeah,
Dave's very good about pulling from anywhere and everywhere to enhance stuff.
Yeah, and being that this is a fairly new thing, and they were trying to fit it in the book with everything else, I'm okay with what they gave us because it's enough to get you started, give you
Okay.
ideas, but at the same time, it's not like daunting of 100 options where you're like, oh my god, I gotta memorize all these, or so it's fine for what it's doing. It's not trying to overwhelm a new DM or whatever. So
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. Besides all as well, there are 10 other options. So
Every time I
as a
hear
game,
that, I'm like, God,
I know,
all as well.
Right to stride, right?
I go all as well. Like that's something terrible.
All will be well.
Yeah, well, Dave. So the listeners know. Why don't you just tell us about the all as well?
Oh, it's one of the burgomaster's sayings as he reassures his town. Even though everything is not well, he just demands, all is well, everything will be well, and meanwhile the whole town's burning down behind him.
Yeah.
So it was an ongoing joke of every time you heard that, you're like, oh yeah, great. Yeah,
that's great. I love it. I love it. So yeah, so you you can roll on this table. There's plenty of third-party resources, but honestly, if you're running a game in the world of Arendor and the city of Lyon, then you could have a specific event that, as the game master, you make up. You say, okay, assassins. You piss somebody off. Assassins are coming, or the dwarves have an airship, and the dwarves come there with an airship, and they're going to do something because they know you're there now. So yeah, you could definitely put
I'll
this.
probably expand on that the random table, and like if you start pissing off people, that criminal window of between 56 and 58 will make go from 55 to 70. It might get bigger because you're pissing off a lot of people, or pissing off.
Or attack might get bigger.
Yeah, the attack might get bigger, or if if things start happening around the world, then maybe you're destroying cities. Refugees might start showing up more, stuff like that. So depending to reflect some cause and effect of the world.
So the book does come with a Bastion tracker at the very end. It's kind of a simple thing. You list as facilities. It's something to get you started. They have a downloadable PDF.
Cool.
Again, the dead professor is going to go much more in detail. I already saw like 2 pages of notes in his notebook as I was sitting next to him about what's going on. And then, last night he fell down the rabbit hole of maps, and we're looking for STL files to 3D print, and it's gonna be a fun time with the Bastion. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it literally come to life and become a 3D physical thing.
Yeah,
it'd be great.
Let's take a.
I'm looking forward to you guys building it, and then be like, "Oh no, we want to add, but there's no more room," or I guess we got to go up. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
So let's see if I can share this this next screen, which is going to be a word from our sponsor, and our sponsor is actually us. We have no sponsors yet, but we're going to sponsor ourselves. So the dead professor, for some reason, thought this T-shirt should be made up and put up on a store. I shouldn't have wished to live in more interesting times. Now available at the Teespring. Links will be in the description. And I think this is a little nod to D&D, but also maybe a little nod to the real world, Scott.
Yeah, it's a little nod to my job and the joy of daily dealing with tariffs.
Yeah. So, and we have all these different colors. Yeah, I mean,
that's nice.
Hot pink is nice. You want to go a classic blue, or it looks good in white too. So Teespring has all the sizes up to 5X, and it's on sale for $16 now. You can get a 20% off discounts.
Is the original Strahd shirt still there, or are we still waiting on?
The original Strahd is still there. We are in the process of updating this. Vecna Strahd 24, Why Choose the Lesser of Two Evils, one of our most popular sellers.
Right.
Unfortunately, Vecna and Strahd did not win this election cycle, so we made a new one, Vecna Strahd 28.
The beauty of being immortal is you can just keep running.
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. If you can't beat them, outlive them, right?
Yep.
So that might be our next shirt.
That.
So that was super popular. Walking around at conventions, people who know.
Yeah,
and they really
it's the most complimented T-shirt I've ever gotten at a con.
Oh yeah, that's funny. So yeah, links down below. Teespring. We still have the 24 shirt available. The 2028 shirt should be up soon. I'm working on that.
Gotta get them ready for Gen Con.
And we have some other shirts up there. Yeah,
we got another idea for shirts for Gen Con, Dave.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll fill you in on that. So, we're about 36 minutes in. Let's take a minute, maybe just to talk about level dips, and maybe we'll do spells another day because we're coming on, almost 45 minutes. So Dave, give us a talk about level dips. We didn't talk about this on the house rules. We have a house rule that if you're going to level dip, you have to do at least 2 levels of it by a certain level. Can you just give me kind of the idea of that house rule? When you want a multi-class?
It was a rule we all agreed upon. We came up with no level dips. It must be investing in at least 2 or 3 levels in your secondary class before a character reaches level 10, or at least 2 consecutive levels after level 10. It was to prevent the original Cleric got everything at level 1, and so people would just take 1 level and then make this really annoying build just to get everything. And it didn't really make sense RP wise or whatever. It just made sense for getting the best build.
It was great for min-maxers.
Yeah. And not that I'm really worried about people min-maxing in our gaming group, but it's just prevent any new people or any future things. And they don't seem to have that problem in the new 2024. But if they release a new class or they do something in the future, that might. So this is just to cover our bases. And I want a more RP reason of why you're now dipping into this. So it would be more of an involvement or an investment other than just 1 level worth. So that was kind of the thought of it, and everyone seems to like it for the most part. I haven't heard any complaints or any begging of let me just take 1 level or something.
So I think as a wizard, I'm enjoying wizard. I'm going to stay full wizard. I can't imagine I'm going to dip into a different level because
you could come up with a story reason. At level 9, something could happen to your character.
Absolutely.
And you could be like, wow, it just suddenly makes sense.
Yeah,
absolutely. I do like the story reason. But when I played the Minotaur in the Strahd campaign, he was a pure cleric. I didn't want to level dip and miss out on a 5th level spell. Like it prevents you from getting those high level spells. As a wizard, I think I want to get there.
Yeah, it's harder to multi-class, especially when you're doing a module campaign where hey, it's ending pretty much around level 10. Yeah. So like, hey, if I multi-class, I'm not going to get the full experience of a level 10 wizard or whatever. So I understand that. But when you're playing up to 20, you could still get your best of both worlds in that regard.
Now, Dead Professor Scott, you were just saying that you might level dip in order to, because you're sorceress. You just mentioned, might become a paladin because of the righteousness, and you'll get a few benefits from that.
Yeah, well, she's a divine soul sorcerer, and based on the way the character has evolved in the game, she is kind of the one always pushing for the righteous, legal, we can't just slaughter these people because they've attacked us. They attacked us because they were dominated by a Naga.
Yeah.
Right? So just killing all these townspeople didn't make sense to her. And she kind of got into it with the group a little bit about that, because we can't just kill these people. These are just farmers who got charmed by a monster. They're not bad.
Yeah.
And then it turned out one of them ended up killing themselves when they realized what they'd done.
Yeah.
She had done too much.
It's a little bit more of a real. Dave has put some real world sentiment on them, like, this priestess of a good goddess got charmed by an evil Naga, made her do evil things, and she killed herself in the end because she couldn't live with what she had done.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that made perfect sense in game. I think it was a great move, Dave. And so the character has evolved to have that little bit of righteousness to her. But then I was also saying on the flip side, she's also, because she's the divine soul sorcerer of Ioun, she's always about information and learning and knowledge. And maybe Rogue made sense because then she could be, a little more aggressive in gaining knowledge.
Yes, I like that.
So
I like that.
Just different character reasons for the two things.
Dave, did anybody else talk about maybe picking up a different level in our group?
No, I don't think anyone's mentioned anything yet.
Okay.
I think I don't know. I feel like the monk might at some point.
He's joked about it, but I don't think he's serious.
Yeah, he might if he wants to just be able to do more magic or something.
Yeah.
He has the most risk of min-maxing of any character in the group.
Yes.
Okay.
Because monks are just
monks in 2014 were so middle of the road mediocre, and the 2024 monk has gotten so much better. It's actually a little scary sometimes.
Yeah. I think that's going to be an episode, Scott. Right? We're going to do a min-maxing the monk. And really we'll try to break them. We'll put them up here, and if people like that, more power to them. Yeah. I see sometimes these little videos on Instagram of different people I follow on our Dark Alchemy account. You can follow us on Dark Alchemy at Dark Alchemy Limited on Instagram. I follow these different creators, and they talk about, they kind of have a video where it's themselves talking to themselves, like he's a game master player. And he's like, I do 1,000 damage. And then I do my second attack. And you're like, what? And then they take you through what's going on. And you're like, oh, wow, you can break this stuff.
Good segue. D&D 2024 released their first errata this week. And
that's right.
And they chopped down the biggest culprits of those spells.
Okay. So we'll have to go through the errata 2 next week.
Just quick taste. The biggest one was Conjure Minor Elementals. Because when you cast it at 9th level, I think it added 16 d6 to each attack. So now imagine the monk. At that level, he'd be doing like d12 for his fist, plus 2d6 for his tattoos, plus 16 d8 for each attack.
Yeah, not counting
5 or 6 attacks.
Yeah, not counting any magical stuff that he might bonuses.
Well, just a tattoo, but yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So
that gets abusive unless you're playing a high magic campaign or high strength campaign where that monk is almost like One Punch Man. I wish I had a picture of him, but they're sitting a dragon and killing it.
Everyone said it was a problem. It was clearly a typo that it was supposed to be 1d8 per upcast level, not 2d8 per upcast level.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they've done in the errata. Yeah. And everyone would be happy to know that we made the right call on our house rule, and temporary hit points go away when the spell ends.
Okay, nice. I like that.
They
so we'll go through
that.
We'll go through the errata next Sunday. We'll do some monk stuff next Sunday. Before then, follow Dungeon Master Evanson at DM_Evanson on Instagram. Look for us at CradleCon May 17th and 18th with more 3D printed miniatures. And home sweet home. Enjoy your Bastions. If you have any Bastions or any comments, you could email us at darkalchemylimited@gmail.com with your pictures, or if you have any 3D prints or anything painted up, email us, and we'll put the picture up here, and we'll talk about it. We'll be doing more interviews next week with different creators that we met at Long Island Tabletop, different creators that we found online who want to talk about their system.
Awesome.
And we'll do some spell talk next week also about how to do a lot of damage at the lower levels. Any parting words of wisdom, Dungeon Master Evanson?
Be kind to each other.
Be kind to each other, and all will be well. Anything else, Scott?
All will be well.
No, and I'll follow that up with something a employee of mine used to put on all our emails, and be good to yourself.
and be good to yourself. So, all right. Well, this is a pre-recorded video. We'll be posting it tomorrow for Easter. If you follow the holiday, have a happy Easter, and I hope you get to have a chance to play lots of role-playing games and let the dice tell the story. Thanks, guys, for coming on.
Have a good one.